Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's YBP Gang, YBP Nation, YBP Boxing, YBP MMA, and I'm coming at y'all with a fight breakdown for the fight coming this weekend from the UFC Fight Night. CORY SANDHAGEN going up against DEIVESON FIGUERIDO. Bantamweight division, probably one of the most stacked divisions, if not the most. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So first fighter, probably the fighter of the card, CORY SANDHAGEN, 17-5 record. A guy who's been just perennially at the top, like just, around, but never can get over the hump. He lost to Jan early on, of course. TJ Dillashaw, that was a huge setback for him. Aljamain Sterling. And then he was, trying to, get to the title with the with the Umar Nurmagomedov fight, and then just couldn't get over the hump there. So, which honestly was a pretty competitive fight. You look at it, Umar, the narrative was Umar was untested. Even though Umar was a huge favorite, Umar was untested. Umar was a guy who hadn't faced a striker like that, in my eyes. So, I have a really early video out when that fight first got booked, and I thought that CORY SANDHAGEN was going to win. I thought he'd defend the takedowns, and especially I thought he'd be really dangerous on the feet and give Umar a lot more problems. But as the fight played out, it looked like CORY was the better defensive grappler. I don't even think Umar got a takedown. If he did, there was barely any control. And CORY, it looks like his striking has regressed. It almost seems like he traded out his striking stats for some grappling stats in that fight. He was so focused on, what it could be is he was so focused on the takedown that his striking he couldn't fully focus and really get into, the striking that we've seen in past fights. So, like I said, I hold him in that high regard. I believe that he can strike with the best guys at bantamweight. He's one of the best strikers in the UFC. But I have to take that opinion back, because I'm not going to say it's atrocious, but it wasn't what I was expecting, in that video. So, or in that fight with Umar Nurmagomedov. So, yeah, honestly, he had the fight with Marlon Vera. That shouldn't have, he shut off the grappling there. He's become more of a well-rounded fighter, for sure. He always has been. He's been one of the smartest fighters we've seen in the UFC. So I just, when I look at the odds, obviously him being minus 400, I completely understand it, because with DEIVESON FIGUERIDO, if we're going to talk about him, he's 37 years old at bantamweight, 5'5", 24-4. I love DEIVESON, a really good fighter. But if we're being honest, the Marlon Vera fight was very, very close, against a low-volume Marlon Vera. If he doesn't knock him down, that's probably Marlon Vera's fight, honestly, at the end. So he's going to have to really bang on that power. And then the Jan fight, he kind of just got relegated to a Marlon Vera type of guy. He was short in spurts, couldn't get the grappling going, couldn't get significant control. And I just think, the Umar fight, he's not as good of a grappler as Umar, so he's not going to be able to. I don't really think he has different takedown setups or anything. I will say, I think Umar could have maybe tried more for the takedown. He kind of just, when he went for it, kind of would just, leave it. I think towards the latter half of the fight, he was, really trying to get it, and CORY just wasn't letting it happen. So maybe if Figgy, tries a little bit more, maybe he could have more success. But even then, I just think he doesn't have the control, really, even when he gets somebody to the ground. Jan, I think CORY can replicate what Jan can do. And the guy is super smart, man. The guy, CORY SANDHAGEN, you see his YouTube channel. The guy's giving great breakdowns. You only listen to people's breakdowns. So I know people are surprised by the minus 400 price tag. Honestly, the thing about this fight though is CORY, he's been sort of, I don't want to say regressing, but he hasn't been quite consistent maybe with some of the stuff we've seen in the past. So we could see a closer fight, but I just think all in all, it's going to be CORY. He's going to be the better striker here. The power advantage is probably going to be on Figgy's side, but I think it's just going to turn into one of those fights where it's, Figgy, round 1, round 2. But as the fight goes on and on and on and on, we get to 3, 4, 5, it's going to be CORY's fight. He's going to be running away with it, and Figgy's going to need a finish. So just the better skills, better kickboxing by CORY. I think Figgy doesn't have enough volume to keep up with CORY. I don't think he has the grappling necessarily. He's 37 years old too, so we're expecting a drop-off. He's been honestly outperforming where he really should be at, So, yeah, I love Figgy, though. He's a great fighter, but I think at some point something's got to give. I honestly could see a finish by CORY, but I think, the bread and butter, it's CORY by decision. I think this fight looks similar to the Umar fight, but CORY has more success. So, he's going to stuff the takedowns. Maybe Figgy gets a little bit of control time here and there, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. He's gonna have to really lean on that grappling. I will say though, he's not gonna be as desperate. Maybe Figgy takes more of a chance, seeing that maybe Corey's striking has regressed and he doesn't believe in Corey's power, or he doesn't believe his threat on the feet. So maybe we see that Figgy is a little more aggressive on the feet. But you saw, I mean, Jan immediately, I mean, that was a boxing masterclass by Jan. What he did to Davison, that was bad. So, and honestly, in my eyes, obviously they have different styles, but I do think Jan and Corey are, to me, I'm biased. To me, I feel like they're on similar levels. I think that they can both compete at the same striker level. They could both be one of the better strikers in the division. So, yeah. So that's my prediction, honestly. I got Cory Sandhagen by decision over Deiveson Figueiredo. It should be a really good fight, honestly, but I think it's a Corey masterclass. I think you're going to see that jab out there. You're going to see, him using his length. He's going to fight like a long fighter. He's not going to let Davison get in. And it might not be as flashy or as impressive as Jan did it, but it's going to be convincing. So give me, like I said, Cory Sandhagen by decision. Specific scorecards, I'll say 49-46, maybe a late round or a super early round. I think all the middle rounds are going to be Corey. Like, once he gets into his groove, there's no stopping him. So that's what I got for that video prediction. Short and sweet. Leave a like on the video, subscribe. Peace out, most guys. You know what it is.